Unwritten, read my mind. I'm undefined. I'm just beginning, the pen's in my hands, and they come staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window, but the sun and moon and made the words that you cannot find. Something is looking so close to taste it. Really is your questions feel the rain on your skin. No one else can be there for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Treat yourself in what's unspoken. Live your life with not quite over. Shenanigans, where your book begins. So rest is God, rest as your burden. Yeah. Oh. I break tradition. Sometimes my tribes outside the line. Yeah. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes. I can't live that way. The blank page before you. Open up the dirty window. Let the sun and the red name out there. You cannot find. Some good to give. Say that relates your mission. Feel the rain on your skin. Come on, let's get big. Stay down. Let's give everybody a minute or two to go in. There's a couple people not coming because they're just a holiday.
Hi.
Hi, we are gonna get started. Hello, ladies. That is such a cool shirt, Lise.
Oh, thank you.
Very cool. It looks like Star Wars.
Oh, it might be, but it's Gary
It's probably
Clark.
like made after that, but it's so cool.
Yeah, it's Gary Clark Jr. He's a musician, go figure.
Go figure. For anybody that doesn't know Lisa, she's all things music. She is your go-to music guru. If you're anything like me that grew up and were a teenager in the 90s and have the same musical taste that we do. All right. So welcome. We are going to jump in. So we have our legendaries who've been around for a while, and we have our untanglers, and we're all going to be talking about worthy dreams today. So if you've been around for the past couple of group Zooms, then you already have your list of worthy dreams. If you haven't, then we're going to pull out either your old list of worthy dreams, or while we go through all of this, I really want you guys to jot down the things that are current dreams that you are working on. And remember, who wants to tell me what makes a worthy dream? There's 3 things that makes a worthy dream. Let's see who the good students are. What makes a worthy dream? It has to hit 3 marks. Come on. Come on. And let's see, can you read?
You have to be passionate.
You have to be passionate. Good job, Lisa.
Yes,
Yes,
Jackie.
it has to inspire passion, right? It really has to like ignite those exciting thoughts. Passion is fuel. It really is. In my woo-woo-ness, I live another life of woo-woo that you guys aren't really all privy to. But in my woo-woo life, there's this guy called Bashar, and I love him. He's a channel. But Bashar talks about passion as the only information you need to live a good life. And that literally everything we should be doing all day, every day, should be igniting passion in us. And if it isn't, then we're not doing the right thing. We really are living somebody else's dreams. And I really, really believe that that is a divine message. Passion is put in our hearts for a reason. I teach 8th grade CCD, right? So I teach teenagers, and I have them all go around and I tell them, introduce yourself and tell me something that really, really excites you, something that you love. And it can't be about the opposite sex, because in 8th grade, that's what some of them would say. So it has, one kid was like, roller coasters, right? And his face lit up. And I'm like, tell me about roller coasters. And he's like, I go all around the country and we go on all of the biggest roller coasters. And I was like, what's like the best roller coaster? And his face lit up and he told me this whole story about a roller coaster. Right. And it's that feeling when you're talking to somebody and you can feel that feeling and you can see their face light up and you can see that it is something that they actually really enjoy, like Lisa with music. That it's a passion, and that it's something you should be following, because it's going to take you to the life of your dreams. It's going to take you to your feel-good life. So that's the first one. It has to inspire passion and exciting, inspired thoughts. The second thing, anybody pull out your book or think about it? What's the second thing that a worthy dream has to have? You have to do something if it's a worthy dream.
I forget. I feel like such a bad student.
Look, Amber.
You have to pull it apart. You have to grow. You have to stretch.
Yes. You have to stretch and grow. Good job. Nobody knew we were playing charades tonight. You have to stretch and grow.
Stretch and grow.
It is not something that you could sit here and just do. It has to bring you passion. But in order for it to be a worthy dream that you're going to pursue, it has to be something that actually needs to be pursued. You have to go after it and stretch and grow in order to create it. Right. And then there's the third one.
Abundance and inspire others or bless lives.
Yeah, good job, Adriana. And Marlo said abundance, right? So it lifts burdens, it blesses lives, it inspires other people. And the reason is because we were not put on this earth to just do things for ourselves. Now, that is kind of like a contradiction to what I'm telling you, which is go do things for yourself. But when you're talking about a worthy dream, sometimes it has to be bigger than you in order for it to be carried out. And even if you think it's about you, it actually will be about you. But if you think about it on like a micro level, it is blessing the lives of other people. So if you're following your dreams, does that inspire your kids to follow their dreams? Right? So automatically right there's the inspiring abundance or fostering the lives of other people. Right. So like, I give the example of my beach house. Like I was, when I first did this exercise in a personal development workshop that I was in, I was like, well, I want a beach house. It doesn't really foster abundance. And they were like, well, what are you going to do with the beach house? And I was like, well, my family's going to come and we're all going to hang out and it's going to be amazing. And we're going to create these memories. And they were like, well, that inspires other people and blesses their lives. Right. But I thought about it in such like a materialistic way. Like, yeah, they get a vacation, but it's not really about the vacation. It's about the time we're spending together. It's about creating the memories. Right. So getting a beach house excites me. It fosters abundance, and it would definitely require me to stretch and grow because I don't live by the beach. It's not something that's in my wheelhouse. Real estate is not something I generally know anything about. Right. So then it becomes a worthy dream. So if you don't have current worthy dreams that you're working on, I want you to just kind of think about your wheel of life and think about career, think about relationships, think about health, think about finances. Usually those are the big areas where you're going to get the big, audacious, worthy dreams. And just jot down a couple of things that right now are on your radar for dreams that you really want. Okay. So if you're in the Untangled group, you're actually at this point where the chart is that I'm showing you, which is you already have your worthy dreams created and you're really clear on what that means, right? It's not just a say out loud, I kind of want a beach house, right? For me, I would have to get really clear on what kind of beach house I want. On where I want it to be, on the size I want it to be, the reasons, what it's going to be used for, right? So you have to get crystal clear on it. And then we didn't experience an experiment last week where we went 7 levels deep and you really got crystal clear on why you wanted it, right? And so if you weren't sure if it was a worthy dream, when you got down to your why, you were really understanding how it was blessing either you or other people when you got to the core of your why. And the feel the feels column here is really about what does it feel like if you have that dream. But this week, I want to talk about values. So one of the most impactful lessons that we did in Untangled was when we identified our core values. And I tell the story all the time. You know, we grew up in my house where we had good morals and values, but nobody ever told me that a value was actually a word that could be defined. And it really is. And in that lesson, most people that have gone through Untangled are like, I never thought to put words to those kind of things. I always knew that I believed this, or I wanted this, or I admired this, but I never really understood that those were my core values. But when we did all the boundaries work and when we did all the communications work, we really began to understand that a lot of the times we go off of our dock, it's because a value is being compromised or a value is expected of us to compromise. And we don't even realize that we get frustrated or angry or disappointed for that reason. Oh, ecosystems. What is that as? I wonder if that's Monique. Hang on. Monique, is that you? Are you ecosystems? Okay. Just making sure.
I don't know why my computer reverted back to that. I used to sign in for work. Sorry.
All right. I'm like, maybe you got a work computer. Go Monique.
No, it's I'm logged in on my computer that I used to use at my old job, and I don't know why, but all my settings reverted. So yeah, happy Monday. Sorry.
All right. Well, welcome. We're just talking about worthy dreams. So, you know, we talked about values and really how important they are. So what I want to do tonight is I want you to think about your worthy dreams, and I want to assign values to your worthy dreams. Now, these are not your core values. These are not those core values that we're walking through life where, you know, this is a yes or a no with our core values, right? They are the guiding light. These are the values that you're aligning to your dreams. And one of the reasons why we're doing that is because when you have a value attached to it, it really is going to solidify you going after that dream. So when your dreams and your values line up, you're really going to stop the negotiating process. We talked about that. Oh my goodness, I can't think of the name. Structural tension. So when you have the two buildings, right, and one's here and one's here, and this is your current reality, and this is where you want to go, and you have that line, that tightrope that you got to walk, right? Values are going to pull that line really tight, right? So our why, when we did the whole what's your why thing, our tightrope got tight. But now we're crossing the tightrope and we're going after the dreams. Having a value to connect those dreams to is really going to help us tighten it up if we ever get a little bit wobbly. It's going to help us stop negotiating because it's really like a solid word that we can go to in our brain to shut down the managers that say, you know, why not, right? Or why, right? Because our why has to be bigger than our why not. And the managers will come in and they'll be like, maybe we should do this. Well, when you go, no, this is for the value of freedom or impact or connection or creativity, it's very easy to shut them down versus going through the whole big wordy why of why you want to do something. So I want you to grab your worthy dreams list, and I am going to pull up a huge list of values. And this is as big as I can get it over here. If you guys need it bigger than this, I can screenshot it and probably pull it up a different way. Is this big enough? Amber, you're on mute.
Well, I was just saying I can make it bigger on my computer too. So you should be
Okay.
able to do that on your
Yeah,
own
same.
computer.
I can't do, yeah, everybody else can. I can't
Right,
make it
right.
bigger on here. Yeah, because I'm in presenting. Okay, so for the next like 5 or 6 minutes, I want you to just, I'll set a timer, but I want you to just grab your dreams. And then I want you to take a look at this list and I want you to write down any word that jumps out at you. That jumps out at you when you think of that dream, right? So when I think of my beach house, which is what the picture is over here, I think of wealth. I think of non-judgment. I think of love. I think of longevity. I think of leadership. I think of all of these words that are popping out. And I want you to write those words kind of all around the paper of that big worthy dream that you have. And if you have more than one dream that you're working on, I want you to do this for all 3 dreams that you have. If we're going after more than 3 dreams, it may be really hard to do at one time. 3 is kind of the maximum that you're able to really, really go for and know that they're going to come to fruition. It's just, we don't have enough time, energy, resources to be spread too thin around any more than 3. So if you have 5 written down, because the exercise in the beginning called for 5, we're just going to narrow it down to 3 for the purposes of this exercise. And wonder, I'm not going to put on music because it's distracting to some people. So we're just going to do this and I'm going to do it with you because got some big, beautiful dreams, new dreams. Got a dream. Every time I hear the word dream, I think of that scene in Pretty Woman. What's your dream? You got a dream. It's at the very end where she gets scooped up by Richard Gere, the prostitute in the limo. And you're going to see a lot of words jump out at you. We're not trying to narrow it down in this exercise. think it's raining. Hold on. Top is down on my Jeep. I thought I heard rain. Bonus points to anyone that can find the 2 double words on the page. Oh my God. No. Take about 1 more minute. Am I muted? No. Right? Can you hear me? Okay. All right. So you can keep writing, but I'm wondering if anybody wants to come off mute and share something that maybe just popped out, that you maybe had an insight, how your values are shaping your dreams, if you noticed any overlapping values between multiple dreams that are kind of drawing you all to the same place, if anything surprised you. Who's got something? Adriana?
Yes, I will share. Hold on, let me just flip this.
Yeah. Are you cooking?
Yeah,
I love it.
okay, so, um, you know, but others don't know, I struggle with writing my dreams down. I have done manifestation in the past, and it's really powerful, and I have achieved certain things with it, maybe not the end goal, but I had gotten more out of the journey than actually receiving the goal. This time, and it's interesting because clearly I didn't read the entire book with the directions or everything. I just saw Worthy Dream, and I put becoming a nurse. So I'm going back to school. But interestingly enough, I put it in the relationship section, not realizing that it was there. And I was gonna like scribble it out, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna leave it. It's meant to be there for a reason. And this is probably one of the most easiest activities I ever did. And I didn't know why I wanted to become a nurse clearly until yesterday. I happened to watch the um, Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. And something that Erica Kirk said, which I used to say to my grandmother when she was alive, was she said that Charlie liked to say, God used me, and then it bothered her. And I used to tell my grandmother when she would beg, why am I still alive? I want to die. I said, God didn't thoroughly use you yet. You're not done teaching. And it dawned on me. I'm like, that's why. Like, I enjoy helping people. It comes like, I want to like help everybody outside. So my values, I put down compassion, independence, collaboration, well-being, gratitude, ambition, and determination. I could have wrote more, but I'm like, you know what? Those were,
They stick out. They stick
stick
out.
out.
And do you want to share a little bit about why you think it popped up in relationships? Because it definitely did. And some of those values even show that.
yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that. In what aspects? Why
Well,
you think
really
I put
just
it there,
how
or?
Well, it ended up there, right? And nothing happens by accident, right? And really just how Chris is encouraging you to do this and how
Yes.
you in the beginning may have misinterpreted that.
Yes. So, Chris is my husband. He is a CD on a big C, big D, and very much so. And I am an SI, and everything of an SI. So he had made a comment. I mean, Monique's laughing because she knows it's true. Um, he had made a comment to me a couple of months ago that rubbed me the wrong way, because he's like, you know, why don't you go back to work? And, you know, we need you to make more money. And because I'm working, and I'm like, he goes, you go back to nursing. I think you'd be great in that. And it struck a chord because I, I'm not driven by money. I know we need money. I know you can do amazing things with money, but it doesn't drive me. You're not dangling a bonus in front of me, and I'm not working harder to get to it. So the way he said it, it really bugged me. And I put it off to the side because I did think maybe I would go back. I mentioned it to him, and that's all I heard. Fast forward, he kept saying to me, I don't understand why you don't go into this field. You know so much about it. You know, I see people who are nurses around you, and you're just as capable, if not more. And I'm like, but why do you want me to be a nurse so bad? Like, why does it matter? I'm not doing it for the money. And he goes, because you're just good. I said, I need you to tell me, like, you went to the doctor, I was your nurse, you came home, and you have to tell your wife, I have this amazing nurse. Why is she amazing? And he's like, the way you talk to people, the way you explain things, you make it simple. And he goes, you're so caring. He goes, why would you want to do that all the time? He's like, you really love it. It's your passion. I was shocked because I am a big believer in, as long as you are doing your passion, you'll never work, because it will always shine through no matter what you do. And he doesn't
Yeah.
believe in that. He's not driven like that. He is your typical C personality, where you just do what you have to do to get it done and be miserable if you have to. I don't understand that.
Yeah, because we're feelers,
Yeah.
right? And so thank you so much for sharing that, right?
Mhm.
Because and really, if you heard what Adriana said, is it was first she interpreted it that he just wanted her to make more money. And until she could get to the feeling behind why that would be the reason why he wants her to make more money, she heard it as just more money. Go back to school and be this because we need you to make more money in your career, right? But in the end, and she wanted to do it, but then that put resistance in there because it was, don't push me to do something just for the money, because I don't work that way. I only work towards what I feel connected to, right? And so then to hear him say why he thought she was connected to nursing just enhanced all the reasons why she really was connected to nursing. So it's a big deal. It was definitely a big deal. So I'm so glad that all of that came out in this exercise and that you were able to plug and play so quickly. Who else has something that came out from this exercise? A value that came out, something that surprised you, some insight about your dreams and your values that and how they connect. Who's got something? Nobody? Your dreams are that boring?
I'll go.
All right, good.
I think this is something that I've been really trying to get clear on for a while now. So the exercise is very timely for me. I think I'm really at a point where I'm not being specific enough about what my dream is. And at first I was thinking to myself, like, I didn't even know what my dream was. But then I was realizing that my business partner's name is Octavia. And I was realizing that every day I tell Octavia exactly what my dream is, every single day, but I don't realize that it's my dream. And so what I tell her is that, so just so you know, ladies, I have a marketing company with this woman, Octavia. She lives in Tennessee, and we are helping entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and small businesses kind of build out their dreams, right? And market it successfully and put it out into the world. And so I tell Octavia every day, what?
And they're so good.
Oh, thanks. And I tell Octavia every day that I want to have enough money coming into the business that we can live our lives comfortably with freedom, financial freedom, whatever that is. And I know I should probably get more specific about the number, but that I want to do it with my friends, and I want to do it while I'm promoting their businesses to get their businesses out into the world to help people. And so every day I just want to do what I love and wake up doing it with people that I love, for people that I love, to help people out in the world. And so like every single day I talk about this, and I realized the other day, oh, this is my dream. My dream is to build out this business so that that's what I'm doing. And so every day it's, action of learning and growing and pushing myself to understand the best way to do that, both for myself and for my clients. And so
it's literally a worthy dream. You just in one sentence said all the things that hit the worthy dream test.
And then I had to laugh because one of the words is generosity, and my company's name is Generous Marketing. So I was just like, oh, this is, I think, part of, my value system is being generous. And I think as I'm saying it right now, I also want to take note, because I think I used to think my values were being nice, but there's a difference between being nice and being generous.
Yes,
and
there
I
is.
think that I have been too nice. And that has gotten me into some situations where I've been easily taken advantage of. And there's a way to be generous, but have boundaries. Whereas I think nice sometimes leads you to less boundaries. So I think I'm going to associate the word generous with my personality more than I'm going to associate the word nice with my personality more from this exercise.
I absolutely love that. That when you think about the braving exercise, right? And the G in braving was generosity. Like generosity, like what, I guess growing up, I would have thought of generosity in terms of monetary stuff. I would have thought of it.
Right, philanthropic or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, growing up in a big Italian family, there's always talk about a generous gift. And a non-generous gift, right? And you always want to be on the list of generous gift givers. But, it really is niceness with boundaries. It is, I am able to do this and I choose to, That's the definition of generous. I am able to, and I choose to. I'm going to be generous. I'm going to be generous with my time. I'm going to be generous with my money. I'm going to be generous with my resources, with my efforts. And I think that that was such an amazing way to bring the whole package together for you. And I heard so many words that popped out when you were doing it. You were talking about growth, and you were talking about learning, and you were talking about generosity, and you were talking about freedom, and you were talking about friendship and
Collaboration, community.
collaboration. Yeah. So many things. And you're using your gifts. You know, you have been in sales and marketing for a very long time, decades. So to be able to take that and then use it now and not work for a corporation, but work for yourself, is huge. It's huge. And I'm very proud of you, Amber Watson. That was great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? We have time for one more person to share, and then we're going to move on to something that builds on this. Yep, Monique, what do you got?
So my two dreams that I'm working on right now are dream job, because I'm not loving my job, and we had a conversation about that. But then the other one is a healthy and healed body. And it's a little different than like before. Like I was very focused on like losing weight and like a number. And now I realized that, I don't know, I had, I guess, an aha moment over the weekend, but like Jasmine going back to school and being healthier and attending school every day with like a happy smile on her face. Everything that I prayed for her has like happened, and that has put me in such a grateful state myself, and I'm more present and I'm more connected. And so being present really stuck out to me. Like I never really focused on that part before. And
Yep.
I realized that like I'm really shifting in how, you know, a number isn't going to make me feel better. Being present is going to make me feel healthy. Being accountable is going to make me feel healthy. All these, being mindful or mindfulness is going to make me feel healthy. Right. So it's just, I don't know, I've just shifted. I feel like I'm
huge.
Yeah. I feel like I'm out of the woods with her a little bit.
Well, and if you think about it, right, we go back to the wheel of life and we go, all right, well, how does that impact your health wedge? Well, your relationship wedge absolutely affects your health wedge, because we only have that finite amount of energy to give to things, right? And if so much of your brain power is focused on your child's well-being, we lose sight of the energy that it takes for all the other things. And it sounds like it's no big deal. Just eat better, just move your body, just do this. But when we're going to learn about habits in a couple of weeks, we're really going to do like a big deep dive into habits. But when something is so energy sucking, we revert back to the oldest, strongest habits that we have, because our brain does not want to use any more energy thinking about anything. So what's the easiest thing to do is go back to these habits that are brainless. And unfortunately for us, we live in a society where it's very easy to be brainless about what we eat, how little we move. Like we literally could sit in one spot and eat nothing but poison all day and have an abundance of it at our fingertips. We just could, right? So that's the convenience, the society that we live in. It takes a lot more time, energy, effort to make choices that aren't that. And those things are cheap, fast, and easy, right? Like it is literally like the quickest thing that we can do. And not moving is the easiest thing that we can do, right? So not being mindful, not meditating is an easy thing to do, right? So you take all of the healthy habits and you go, okay, I don't have time for the healthy habit things. We know what to do. We all know what to do. It's why are we not doing it? Well, a lot of us aren't doing it because our energy is being pulled in too many different directions, or we're solely focused on a different wedge of our wheel. And when that happens, and we have resistance to it, we're actually creating even more of a boundary to getting it, because now we're upset at ourselves and we're producing the below the line emotions towards it. And that's more resistance towards the goal of launching the rocket that we already launched.
That
Right?
makes a lot of
So
sense. Yeah.
what's happening now, what you're saying is the Jasmine piece of the wedge is freeing up from all the time, energy, resources. And immediately you're feeling excited, right? What's a worthy dream, right? It has to inspire passion. If you were thinking about making health goals during that whole thing, how did it feel to you?
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming, not expanding, not
No.
passionate, right? Like
Yeah.
dread, like, oh my God, please don't make me think about that. We go into freeze or we go into fawn. I'm going to pretend that that's not even there because I just don't have it in me to do it. Right. And a
Yep.
lot of times that happens with people's finances. It happens with their romantic relationships. It happens with family relationships. It's very common for the health to go by the wayside. And it's really because we live in a society that promotes more of an unhealthy lifestyle. So I love that you went beyond the number because the number really can cause resistance for people. And I love that you just pulled all of those words out of health.
Yeah. Someone said to me, you know, because I was talking about it, right? And I said, you know, I keep talking about the number, and I know what to do. All the things that you said, right? Like, because I know I used to go to the gym frequently. I used to go every day. I mean, it was a priority, or I found other ways to work out or be healthy or cook healthy meals. And my life revolved around that for a time when I was single. And somebody was like, well, it's just not your priority right now. And it just hit me in such a way that I was like, that's exactly what Jackie's teaching us. But like that one sentence just freed up my whole brain. I was like, I just needed someone to say it to me that way so I could accept
It's
it for
just not a
myself.
priority. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can own it. I can own that. It is just not a priority right now, right? We did the same thing very, very early on when we talked about our words in Untangled. We talked about watch your words, right? Like I can't afford that. The flip to I can't afford that is it is not a priority for me to spend money on that right now. Right? That is the flip to I can't afford it. That is the other end of the stick that gives us a more positive outcome, that gives more magnetic attraction to a higher level vibration. Right? My words are gone tonight. I don't know where they are, but they are gone. But I got it. It's just I'm a little delayed. So it's important that we remember that. And just a simple phrase like that, it's just not a priority right now. That's it. Right. And then it goes, oh, wait, do I want it to be a priority right now? What has been the priorities? Right. And then you go, oh, I know what the priority has been. And then you're like, okay, now I can flip it because I don't have to spend all my time, energy, and resources on that. Amazing. Awesome. Great job. Okay. So now that we've kind of tied our worthy dreams to values, I want to move into something called feel good segments. If you did Untangled before, you've seen feel good segments, but we're doing them again because our lives change every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. And it's really important to remember that we always have an opportunity to shift our vibration towards something more positive. Okay. So values don't just live, these kind of values that we were just talking about, they don't just live in these big audacious dreams. They really live in the tiny moments of our everyday too. So our life isn't about just taking like these big leaps towards these big things. It's literally stacked in these tiny moments that we're going through on a daily basis. Like Monique said with Jasmine, like that, just her going to school is a moment, right? Just seeing a smile on her face in the morning when she goes and gets on that bus or you drop her off, that's a moment. Well, that's a segment of your day, right? So I want you guys, I talk about trains, planes, automobiles, and this whole Untangled thing. We're talking about literally every transportation, but I want you now to think about a train. So think about every morning when you wake up, you are stepping on to a moving train of energy. Okay. So if you step onto a train of stress or overwhelm or frustration, it is very easy to ride that same train all day long, right? Especially if when we did the emotional home exercise, you realize that your emotional home is somewhere in the basement, right? If you were just like my best friend growing up, her emotional home was happiness. Like she lived in happiness. My emotional home was overwhelmed. Her emotional home was happiness. And it was like irritating. Like, how could you possibly be happy all of the time? Right. But that's how she woke up in the morning, and she made a conscious choice to stay happy. She just said, nothing is so important that it can bring me down. Nothing. Right. She just didn't take life or herself too seriously. And I always wish that I could be more like that. Well, she was on the happy train. Right. So the thing is, no matter what train we get on, if we realize that every segment of our day is a chance to get on a different train, we can stop the train of stress. We can stop the train of overwhelm. We can stop the train of frustration. Or we can continuously decide to stay on it. So that choice happens in these different segments. Who's writing in the chat? I just saw a chat. I highly suggest the energy bus. Got it. I never read the energy bus. That's something we'll have to look at. All right. Talk to me about that in our 101 too, Adriana. Okay. So the choices happen in these segments. So segments are these natural breaks that you have in your day. So waking up is a segment, going to work is a segment, eating a meal is a segment, shifting home from work into family time is a segment, winding down at night is a segment. And every segment is a chance to get on a different feeling train, right? Because it's an easy break in the day. It's a way for us to become more aware of whatever emotional state we're in. So I'm bringing this up here because we're talking about these big worthy dreams, and we're eventually soon going to be breaking down all the different steps that it's going to take to reach these dreams. Well, each of those steps has to come in a segment of your day. And so if you go into these steps with a negative energy, or if you go into these steps tired, then you're not a match for the passionate, inspired, stretching, growing work that you're about to be doing. So I want you guys to start thinking about the natural shifts that are in your day. And I want you to grab a pen and a piece of paper. And I want you to write down at least 3 natural breaks in your day that stand out to you. So there's a couple of examples on the slide here. The ones that I just said out loud, there's some people have a commute. Some people have a bedtime routine. Some people have an exercise routine, right? Some people, I don't know, midday go and run errands. All of those are natural transition points. So your first thing with this next exercise is to write down 3 natural transition points. And while you do that, I am going to let my dog. All right. Everyone's got their natural segments. Now, we talked about the power of intention, and we talked about how the whole goal of Untangled is that you're creating this intentional, purposeful life, right? We are no longer just going through the motions of our lives, reacting to the things that happen to us. We're being proactive. We're proactively keeping our energy up. We're proactively keeping our emotions up. We're proactively working on the thoughts that are in our head. We're proactively working on the relationships that are in front of us. We're proactively working on our goals. We are no longer in a reactive state. We've untangled all the bullshit that kept us in the reactive state. And that's where we are right now. Now we're in the proactive state. So if you have your 3 segments, I want you to write down 1 sentence about how you want to feel and the energy you want to bring to that segment. So there's a, for instance, you can see it up on an example up on the slide. So let's say it's waking up. I intend to start my morning with gratitude and ease, welcoming a beautiful day ahead. If it's before a work task, I intend to focus fully, work with clarity, and enjoy the process of getting things done. Dinner time, I intend to savor this meal, be fully present, and appreciate this moment of nourishment. So once you kind of have this done, you can see how even if you were in a bad place or a reactive place before that segment, you now have a choice to shift to a proactive place and get on a different train. Right? We're on the downtown train and we realize I don't want to go that way. And so now we're going to jump off, we're going to shift, and we're going to go uptown. Right? I was in a bad mood. I had a disagreement with my husband, and now I'm walking into a work meeting. I get to choose, because the segment is changing, that in this space, I am going to focus fully, and I'm not going to bring my relationship stress into this work environment. Right? Because it's magnetism. Because if we walk in with that energy, we're going to be attracting more things that give us that energy. So if we were frustrated here, something's going to happen in this work meeting unless we get on a different train that keeps us frustrated. But if we segment intent, which is what this is called, then we set a different intention, we hop on a different train, and now we just shifted the entire thing. And now whatever comes after that is interrupted, and we can get back to proactive state. And after that, I want you guys to take a look at those sentences that you just wrote, and I want you to attach a value to it. So we can go back to the values list, and you can go, because when I do that, I feel blank, right? So you're going to attach a feeling or a value to it. So here's another example. Lisa, I don't know if you remember doing this last time. Do you remember doing this last time?
I do, because I found it very daunting last time, and I still do.
You remember what it was?
What was the most daunting part about
Do you
it?
remember your example?
No, but you can remind me.
I do. So yours was, your segment that was most frustrating was Maddie giving you a hard time about the clothes you laid out for her
Oh,
and how it drove the morning.
yep.
And so what you wanted to do was shift the morning energy into a more proactive space where you gave her a choice the night before, and then the morning went smoothly.
So we've been working on that, and it's probably what, 6 to 8 months later than the last time we discussed this.
Yeah.
She's now
Yeah.
9, she's in 4th grade. It's kind of different. We talk about it the night before. I don't really lay anything out because now she's got a new sense of style. She's a little bit older.
Yeah.
I give her 2 suggestions in the morning. She really does still want me to, mommy, help me. Mommy, help, not literally help me get dressed, but
Yeah.
mommy, so I give her two choices. Outfit number 1, how about outfit number 2? Then you're on your own. And she figures it out. She doesn't come down like looking like Punky Brewster or mismatched or, anything. But, and she looks, and now she knows.
Which aired 40 years ago, by the way. I just posted the other day. Punky Brewster aired 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
killed me to see the post. But yeah, so a couple of things has happened in the past 6 to 9 months since we talked about this last. Number one, you released the resistance to the outcome of the whole situation, right? And the last time we spoke about this, you did not talk about it at night at all. And it was actually your suggestion when we came to what can I do to create this segment. You were like, I think that I can talk to her at night about it. I mean, it was literally.
So our nighttime actually is, I always tell her, or she'll ask, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow? So if
Yep.
we're not picking out the outfit, we're at least prepping ourselves for, is it going to be pants or a skirt? Is it going to be, jeans
Whatever.
and something, or athletic wear? But so we at least get that direction.
Amazing. Well, do you have a different segment intending now?
So now it's funny, I did mention Maddie. And it's when I pick her up in the afternoon, I kind of have to, she's a little more energetic. She's a little more wanting to talk to her friends and, communicate with that. So I have to get myself in a mindset of prepping myself for her energy when I pick her up after work. And this year, I don't know why Brick has done this, but Maddie's in 4th grade this year and she's never had homework ever. The whole school, like almost the whole district, just said fuck homework since COVID. Like they didn't do it. Therefore I'm out of practice of even asking her. And we had some very tearful mornings when school first started because she'd go through her folder and be like, oh my God, I had homework. And now she's hysterical crying in the morning. So there's a whole picking up Maddie, emptying the backpack, doing homework, keeping calm.
Keeping calm. I love it. Yep. So
because I can't figure out this stupid, ridiculous math that they're doing at 8:27 in the morning when we're out the door in 3 minutes. I need time to figure out how to teach her simple math in a very not simple way.
yeah. Well, and listen, it goes to our emotional state, contributes to their emotional state.
Yeah.
Right. It's all connected. So this is where we get to go. Okay. So when I show up in a patient, kind, compassionate way, we can have a conversation that then leads to a patient, calm, compassionate afternoon or morning or whatever it is. Right. It's us. We always said we can't change other people. Right. I wish she wouldn't. Well, if I can do this, then she won't do that. Right. So it's important. So you have to work on the transition before she gets in the car, because what's the benefit of it?
It helps me go into it with a calm, how was your day? When we get home, we're going to do homework. And it just, I can set the tone for myself and for her. And that's really it. And I have noticed she really does follow my lead. It's like leading a dog on a leash. It's like,
Yeah.
do you let them walk ahead of you? Which I do. That's why I have an asshole dog, or do I keep her next to me and guide her along with me?
With a spoonful of peanut butter. Come on. Right. But it's true. It's true. They're learning. More is caught than taught. Right. We say that all the time. More is caught than taught. So if I come in a proactive way, then you're going to learn how to show up in a proactive way. Absolutely. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Tell Maddie we love her. She was just the example of our whole discussion. She'll be very happy. Who else? Who else has a segment that they just work through, that they realize that they have to hop on a more positive train in this segment because it'll affect something else? Monique, what do you got?
I don't even know if I worded this right, but the gist of it is that my commute to work, I don't like my job. And in the morning, if I go in and I arrive at work with, I don't like my job mentality, right? And woe is me, and then I have a bad day. Today I'm like, look, it's not that bad. I had a headache all weekend. It's gone. Thank God it's gone. I can actually focus on my work today, and I'm going to do the best I can. And it's really all I can do, because there's just every day it's more and more tasks that are thrown onto my plate. And it's, I mean, like at this point, it's just funny to me. And like, I mean, at this point, it's like 3 people need to be doing my job, not even just 2. So if I can get over the fact that I'm going in there like angry or upset, I can have a better day. So I did that this morning, and that's what I really need to stick with. Being present and staying positive.
Put it in terms of intention. I intend to
walk into the office with my positive pants on tomorrow.
with my positive panties on.
Yeah. Because when I am positive and happy, I have a better day, regardless of what's going on around me. Yep.
And it's a big chunk of your day, right? And the truth is, we have to remind ourselves of all of the things. First of all, everything happens for us, right? So we got to go to gratitude. We got to find gratitude. Sometimes it's really hard, again, to find gratitude in the topic that we're frustrated on, right? There's 2 ends of the stick, and it's the same stick. So if you try and go to gratitude on something that's bringing you a lot of frustration, and the resistance is still there, it's hitting on the lack of what you really would prefer. So it doesn't necessarily work, and it could actually lessen the rocket fuel on the rocket that we're launching. But if you can go to gratitude to something else that has nothing to do with the job, then you're expanding your possibilities for the you've already launched a rocket that we don't like the job. We've already launched it. The only difference between finding the better feel-good job and not having the better feel-good job is allowing ourselves to be open to what's coming by staying in a more positive vibration. And that's very hard to do when we're focused on all day, I don't like my job. Right? It's the big conundrum. It's the big conundrum. So when you're thinking, I don't like my job, you don't have to tell yourself, I like my job, or suck it up, or be grateful you have a job, because that's her, right? And that's a resistant thought. But it can be, I'm so grateful that I get to listen to a podcast on the way to work. I'm so grateful that I get to roll the windows down and feel the wind in my face. I'm so grateful that I get to drop my kid off at school and stop and get this really delicious hot coffee. It doesn't have to be anything about work. It just has to be a positive moving train. That's it. We're shifting into the segment on a more positive moving train where we're really blocking out the negative thought about work.
Yep.
Awesome. Who else has a feel-good segment? If I can see everybody. Who else has a feel-good segment? A segment of your day that may be keeping you down. Oh, I moved my next screen. All right. Well, every time, again, we pause and we set an intention for a different segment, we really get a new chance to reset. I put the feelings wheel up here because as you go into the segment, you can lead with how you want to feel, right? And it's not always I want to feel happy, right? I want to feel satisfied. I want to feel healthy, right? Maybe your segment is going into a meal. My segment going into dinner, if I don't want to feel rushed, what do I want to feel, right? And sometimes we get the negative words, right? And we have to do contrast versus clarity. If I don't want the rushed feeling, what I do want for a meal is a peaceful meal, right? Layla actually made a comment the other day, and it was so mind-boggling, but true at the same time, where she said, we don't sit down and have dinner as a family. And I was like, oh my God, we really don't sit down and have dinner as a family. And it was such a huge priority for us when the boys were home. But now both of my boys are away at college. And when they are not here, the three of us are really on completely different schedules. Sometimes I have sessions at night. She's at field hockey practice. Sometimes Mike's working in Jersey City and getting home at 6:30. And everybody is hungry for dinner at completely different times. And so we really don't sit down and have family dinner. On the weekends, sometimes we'll go grab a meal together. But even on the weekends, there really isn't. And I, in that moment, was like, this is going to be a segment that I shift, right? I want to feel connected at meal times. Now, is it realistic for me to do that every night of the week? Absolutely not. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to make it actually achievable, which we're going to talk about SMART goals in the next couple of weeks. And in order for me to do that, I have to say at least 2 days a week, we're going to sit down and the three of us are a family. To me, that didn't feel like a family. When I think of my family dinners, I think about the big group of everybody. The three of us didn't feel like we were enough of a family in whatever story I was telling myself to sit down and have a meal. But her saying that was a big shift for me. Okay, so I want to move into something just so you can see how aligning your choices with your values and your intentions and these feel-good segments really can make a difference. So it's something called match game. So every single choice we make is shaping our lives, and we're either reinforcing the dream life or we're reinforcing our old patterns. And it can show up in all of the different wedges of the wheel. So this game is really just designed so that you can see how easy it is to pick it out, right? So I'm going to read the goal, whatever the goal was for whoever the woman is that is saying it. And then I'm going to describe two scenarios. One is a match to the goal with the intention and is keeping the vibration high and allowing in what she wants. And one is not a match and complete resistance. And then we'll unpack why it is together. Okay. So first one, relationships. The goal, to engage in positive, uplifting conversations. Scenario number one is presented. You redirect gossip with a curious question. What's a curious question? Oh, that's interesting. What do you find interesting about that statement that you're telling me about that person, right? Why is that so interesting to you? There's the curious question. Or you join in on complaining even though it drains you, which is the match. Rhonda?
One,
One. Why? Why is it a match?
because there's no negativity to it. You're asking a curious question. It's an honest answer.
Right. So we realize like something brings us down all the time, and our intention is to be proactive and positive, right? So we decide we're engaging in only positive, uplifting conversations. Now you go back to the boundary work that we did, right? This is why we did so much boundary work, because we are around people all of the time that can pull us out of our vibrational frequency and into a lower level vibration where we are no longer a match. I don't know about you guys, but I have plenty of friends and family that just being around them brings you down, right? We call my mother-in-law worst case scenario Sarah, and we call my mother negative Nancy. And I'm just saying, it's not all of the time. But anytime we're trying to talk about something, that's what you're getting from both of those, right? And we make a joke about it and they know, and it's kind of funny, but the joke came from the boundary of, I really don't want to have these conversations anymore. And I don't know what to say. I'm no longer going to join in complaining about it because it drains me. So what are we going to do about it? Well, I'm going to call attention to all the stuff that's coming out of everybody's mouths around me that is all negative, right? My therapist walks around and she tells people resistance, and that's all she says. Whenever she hears them being resistant, she'll just go resistance, and then that's it. Right. So sometimes we have to point it out. We don't have to be nasty about it, but we could definitely be assertive that we're no longer participating in conversations like that. Right. I no longer participate in conversations where we badmouth other people. All right. Moving on to finances. The goal to align your money choices with your long-term goals. Those of us in Financial Peace University, we know how to do this. Scenario number 1, you pause before buying, asking, does this align with my goals? And scenario number 2, you impulse buy something out of stress. Which is the match? I'm calling on you, Monique. You have a story about this.
Yes, my Thanksgiving Black Friday story about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's number 1. I'm going to pause and say, does this align with my goals? And you want me to share my story? No.
You totally could. Absolutely.
I usually go Black Friday shopping with my daughter. I'm going to condense this a little bit because I don't remember some of the details, but I had decided to make a purchase that was more in line with what I actually needed. And I got to the mall feeling like a sense of regret that I didn't have money to spend. And then when I got there, I realized that this isn't that great. Like, I don't really need to buy it. Like, I only go there for the sale. And like, that no longer resonates with who I am at this point in my life. So my daughter had a little fun, and I went home and just like got away from the crowds, and like that was fulfilling for me. It was nice to have peace and not need to spend.
And not need to spend, right? And you left there with the goal in mind. You left there making a choice that aligned with your goal, right? You paused because the old you would have just bought it. It was on sale, right? That's it. We may need it someday. The new you was more conscious. When we make dreams and goals, we actually do the work to achieve them. All right, next one, health and wellness. The goal, to move my body daily in ways that feel good. Scenario 1, you're tired, but you take a short walk anyway. Scenario 2, you skip your walk to binge a TV show. I'm calling on you, Marlo. How apropos this one is. How come you're muted? Hold on, I can't unmute you.
Now better?
Yeah.
So, yes, scenario 1 is where I like to live, and I typically do. I'm going to very quickly say what I'm recognizing is replacement therapy. So, what I'm really beginning to understand about it is it's less about relaxing and more about a substitute. I don't watch TV, guys. This is I'm not one to sit and watch television almost at all. And now what Jackie's referring to is I was almost intoxicated, good word, because that's true, with a show that I found that I'm sure you all know of, but I never watched, called Scandal. And of course, it was hitting for all the right reasons at this moment. And I was totally and completely in awareness of the fact that this was replacement therapy, an intoxication in a whole new way. Dopamine hits galore, okay? And my typical is to be more the scenario 1. You're tired, but you take a short walk anyway, or to push myself to do some kind of physical something. And to binge watch a show, yeah, crazy town. That doesn't even sound like me. It's like so foreign. However, I recognize that it's just another, how do you explain? Just another layer.
It's another layer.
It's
And they
another
all
layer.
are. Right.
And it's in awareness, and I caught it quickly, and I very quickly said I'm 6 or 8 episodes deep and going, something's not right here. And it feeds parts that I don't need to feed. It just does. And it's not, I can watch a show. Please don't misunderstand me. I can watch a show. But watching it the way I was, I recognized very quickly that's a different thing. It's a different beast. So
Right. And again, I'm gonna go back to what I said with Monique, right? The world is designed to feed that part. It's designed to feed that. Those shows are made to do that. Right?
yeah.
They're made. The society's made for us to stay unhealthy. It's made for us to stay not able to reach our goals. It's working against us. We are swimming upstream. Who's throwing in the chat? I can't read this chat. We're swimming upstream. I don't know how to get to the chat. Hold on. You would think that I would be able to do this.
But I guess the one thing I would say is, you know, the ability to recognize what was going on and quickly do a redirect was only because of the work and the willingness to sit in the awareness and recognize that it was replacement therapy, because I'm choosing, I'm not, and don't have any desire to, interestingly enough, to drink, but whatever the drinking was anesthetizing now too was this show very quickly. Like you could see it. It was just another distraction, another
Well, another way to relax too, right? So the whole purpose of this, and really thank you for everyone that shared your stuff, is because how often do we think about our daily choices, each one of them through this lens? We don't, because little by little, they're not harmful. Watching a show, eating a snack, being angry at work, being bored here, driving and not listening to a podcast, or like we don't think that they're keeping us from our goals, but they are. A lot of these behaviors are keeping us stuck in the world that we don't want to be stuck in anymore. Right. And it's the little tiny daily things that add up to creating these dreams. That's why I don't want you to think about them as just like these big things that are out there. We're going to start to go into the smaller, more minute things that have to get done on a regular basis in order for you to stay aligned mentally and physically, right? And spiritually with the things that we say we want. And it's as simple as, you know, choosing to go for the walk instead of watching the show. It's as simple as that. But in the moment, it's so much easier to sit and watch the show, right? Or have the glass of wine, right? Like if I have a glass of wine, sometimes we'll go out to dinner on the weekends, and I'm back in grad school and I have a lot of work to do. If I have a drink at that dinner, I know that when I get home, I'm probably not going to do any work that I still have to do. Right. And then the whole next day, I'm going to spend beating myself up that I should have never had the single beer. Why? Because I'm tired. But in the moment, I want to choose it because I want to relax and I want to have a good time and I want to do all the things, but it is not serving what my goals are now. So when we're going after our worthy dreams, saying no to the short-term things is saying yes to the long-term things. And that's really what I wanted the big takeaway to be on every one of these different segments that we have. Every decision, every segment in our day, all adds up. So that's really all I have for tonight. I was trying to pull up a picture. Hold on, because I want to remind you guys of our club because it's next week. And this one was actually a good one. So we are reading the Midnight Library. If you haven't read it yet, you still have time to read it. It's 8 hours on Audible, which is not a lot for a book. It is perfectly aligned with all of our Untangled work. It is actually a good book. So we finally got a good one, ladies. And I was just going to say ladies and gentlemen, but there are no gentlemen here. And I'm super glad about it. Marlo, you came off mute. Anybody have anything to say yet? And then I'm going to leave you with a couple of things to think about, to come in with, to talk about Midnight Library.
No, it's a good book.
That's what Marlo's got to say.
It's a good book. I didn't mean to hit it, but yeah, no, it's a good book. I'm enjoying it. It's interesting.
I'm like, she's got something. Monique, what do you got?
I know why you chose this book. I'm about a quarter of the way through, maybe close to a third of the way through, but it's such an easy read. And yeah, there's definitely some like, yep, I felt that in my life. So very fitting.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you.
Yes. So we'll actually have some good conversations. So, you know, just come in kind of thinking about, I don't know. We're going to have a good discussion about it. And then in October, I am going to shift around the way these group communities are going to go. So keep an ear out for a big shift in October. We're going to start having different topics, and we're going to have a new routine schedule for different Mondays of the month. So right now we have book club. It is the 29th at 7 o'clock, and then we will be in October. And next week I will release the new format for these group community Zooms. So ladies, let's go around, talk about biggest takeaway. What'd you get from tonight? Who's got something? We don't have to have everybody. Who's got a takeaway?
I was just gonna say,
Monique. Oh, sorry,
Go ahead, Monique.
Marla.
no, go ahead, Monique. It's okay. It's not that important.
I was going to say that I feel a lot differently about my goals. Something shifted, so it's nice to be on a different page now. There's a lot of growth that's happened in the last, I think, almost year that we've been doing this. So it's exciting to realize that, you know, I feel like I'm a different person now. So that's all thanks to everybody on this call. So thank you.
So I'm so excited. I really been thinking about you guys, and last year when you started, and just every single one of you, what in a different place you're all in. It's really kind of amazing. Who else? Biggest takeaway? Dee, did you come off mute? You had something to say?
I know I'm very, very tired. Sorry. But I did want to come off mute to say that I'm so happy to be back here in this atmosphere with you guys, because it's just what keeps me going. And I missed it. I've been away for a while, but I'm so happy to be back. So thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Keeps your vibration high. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. Well, we love having you back. Who else? Biggest takeaway? Marla, you got nothing? You were coming off mute.
I was just thinking about it, and I just realized that when you called it segment intending, it's very often I think about the bulk of the work that we've done and the people that we listen to, right? And I thought to myself, wow, I just never like looked at it that way. Like I was never so intentional about looking at it that way. Like I understand now as we're talking about it, and how much of a shift it can create if you put it in play, probably. And here's what, again, I just said this to Amber this morning, like some things you've heard so many times, it sort of washes over you and you don't really get the essence of it. And tonight, I think I appreciated more, maybe just taking that step to segment intent, right? To actually do it, not just listen to it and not just know what it is or think you do. So that's kind of my takeaway, that really, there's many moments I thought of in the day where I could probably apply it. So.
Yay. Yeah, I heard segment intending for years from Abraham Hicks. Never really understood what it was, right? And then I read Ask and It Is Given, and it was a huge part of Ask and It Is Given. And I didn't find it, I wasn't aware enough. That's really what it was. I wasn't aware of the different segments or thoughts or topics that were the places for me to put it into practice. And now I am, right? It's the awareness. That's why the whole beginning is really, once you get to awareness, you can catch so many things. You can catch so many things. And this is just one of the things we can catch. Thank you. All right. One more. Anybody else? Biggest takeaway? All right, ladies. Well, I hope you all have a fabulous week.
I'll go.
Yeah. Yes.
Wait, I'm driving. I'm sorry. Hold on. But you speak about values a lot in the background, and it dawned on me today, and it kind of clicked as everyone was sharing. If we look at, let's say, our top 5 values, and you really think about them, it can guide your whole life. And it puts things in alignment for you. And, you've said so many times that when people kind of go against it, you feel that thorn. And me and you have spoken about it. It really is that it's not in alignment with your values. So everything shifts when you start thinking about it. Let's say if it feels like something's hard, and you can just say, okay, if these are my top 5 values, and family's a really big one for me. I think I'm going to start, not I think, I'm going to start listing them and saying, if it doesn't, like, why am I out of alignment? Why am I feeling this way? Something is not sitting somewhere. And I think if we go through whatever comes up in that segment piece that you were mentioning,
Yeah.
it changes. Like, I was resonating. I mean, I had to pick up my dog, so I was out of the car for a little bit. But like, I picked up, I think it was Lisa who has the little girl that was talking
Yeah.
about clothes. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been there. I know, I feel your trouble. I feel the trouble with the homework. And some of it comes from like this sense of control. And it's so hard to let it go. Monique, that comment's in there for you. Like, listening to Abraham Hicks in the morning, her morning vortex. I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like to be in a toxic environment. And let me tell you, you have to really push yourself forward and be it's not even being intentional. It's really at that point tricking yourself and being like, no, this is really how this day is going to go. And I will tell you, the mornings I didn't do it, and some mornings, if I didn't do that, I meditated. My boss knew. He knew. He goes, you didn't do something today. So it's just, it clicked on how important values are intertwined in every single thing that we do, no matter
Everything.
what it is.
Everything. And you're absolutely right to say, if we just lead with that, everything's going to be okay. And if we're out of alignment, again, if there's an issue, it's because our time, energy, and resources are being taken advantage of, we feel, or we have a value that's being compromised. So something to do with your time, energy, and resources, or your values. That's what all challenges come down to. Right. And then once you can figure out what that is, now you can figure out if you need a new path or a new perspective. Right. Let's say you're staying in a job because of the money, and you realize you're completely out of alignment with that job. Right. Well, what is it? Is it time, energy, resources, or a value, or more than one? And then you go, all right, well, it doesn't really go against any of my values. Does it go against my time and my energy? Yes, because I want to be spending them doing something else, right? Okay, well, now I have to take a new perspective or a new path, right? It all kind of circles back to each other. But Adriana, 100%. And that's why I bring it up again here, right? We did values so long ago, but I bring it up again here because when we're doing these worthy dreams, every single tiny action that we take, and every day, and every segment of every day, and every week, and every month, and every year, all goes together to create these dreams, right? So we have to be leading with our values and our emotions all the time. Awesome. All right, girls. Well, I will see everybody next Monday night at 7 o'clock for the Midnight Live. I hope you all have an awesome week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.